It's good to see everybody. We have a busy agenda, but hopefully we'll be able to get through everything in short order. And then the other part is we've got a busy week because WASC is with us. So we want to make sure too that we bring you up to speed in terms of what's going on with WASC. For those who don't know what the heck is WASC. And so Dr. LMP, it's all yours.
Yeah, well, I'm going to turn it quickly back over to you, Dr. Sawyer, but just wanted to welcome everybody this morning. We are nearing a year of our shelter in place or remote work. And for those of you who have been on campus this entire time, you have now gone about a year with a campus that looks the way it has been for the last several months. And it's kind of weird to, I guess, for me, feel the springtime coming like it did last year, and to see the days getting longer, and to see ourselves still sitting here in our same spaces. So we have a brief meeting for you this morning. We've got some important updates, and I am just happy to see all of your faces. I continue to be so grateful for all of you. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Sawyer for some opening remarks, and then we will get on with our updates.
Oh, thanks, Laura. As Dr. Monhe Polson pointed out, in about 2 weeks, we will have been in shelter in place for approximately 1 year. And I remember those few days vividly because I was working with Jamie and the career team as we were determining whether or not we were going to continue on with our career day. And we were really trying to make sure what we were going to do. I know Jamie remembers those conversations vividly, as well as our folks from career. So I'm sure that Kelsey and Audra and Becky remember those. But as I look back on it and I think, wow, we have really done a lot of shifting and pivoting in that year. We have added almost 2 full basketball teams with our babies that have been added to our staff, and at least one softball squad. So we've done a good job during this time off of making sure that we've added to our team players and more recruits as we start looking at increasing our SSU numbers. We have met at least in fireside DSA training and DSA staff meetings that we have met at least 22 times over the last year. Quite a bit. But we also, as you recall, we did fireside because there was a call that we were going through so much. It's the first time that in a long time that many folks have actually worked with their families in the same place as they did or do, to be able to have the children at the house that are being homeschooled, to be able to have colleagues and family members to be in the house kind of climbing on and around all of us as we were trying to get work done along with our fur family. And so this is the first time that we've been in a situation for this long of a period. We've also had at least 5 DSA members during this time accepted the doctoral programs. What's really exciting as we have a brand new doctor in the house today, Dr. Verrier, and I'm going to use a French pronunciation. Dr. Verrier, please, congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have her pen, and I talked to Audra yesterday. We will have our pen ceremony. For those who are not familiar, if you have worked in the Division of Student Affairs and you've completed your doctorate in that time, that we have a pen ceremony where we welcome that individual to the Circle of Scholars. Dr. J was our very first person who received his Juris Doctorate. And I believe it was in September when we did our very first meeting, we invited all those individuals who had terminal degrees up to the front of the room, and they all welcomed Dr. J into the Circle of Scholars. So we will be doing something virtually where we will accept Audra into our Circle of Scholars. So Dr. Verrier, congratulations. We are so proud of you. And accepted with no revisions. So her dissertation was accepted with no revisions. So this is really exciting. I also got news this morning. We have a brand new person who's already been accepted this morning to a doctoral program. So that is Derek Bradley has been accepted to San Francisco State. So in the Division of Student Affairs, we may only have 80 people, but we've got about 15 people now that are either in doctoral programs. We get to take Audra out of that group now, but that we have that many people that have been accepted to the programs. It's one of the things I have to say that I'm so proud of the number of people who are joining that ranks, that you are now being part of a different group. And student affairs now, we are scholar leaders and scholar practitioners. And so I'm so very proud of all the work that you all are doing. And you'll hear a little bit more about our celebration of excellence, but one of the pieces that we'll also be doing in celebration of excellence is talking about all of you that are in either undergraduate or graduate programs and where you are. So we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about that. We also have, during this time period, one Wong Award winner during this year who is also incapacitated with, I don't know, a couple of different breaks and sprains and things like that. I'm going to teach him how to play Parcheesi. I don't know how to play it, but I guess I'm going to have to learn just so he won't get hurt. So congratulations to Dr. J. I also too want you all to know that this year, Jamie did a presentation that was so highly touted that our partners from EAB suggested that and the innovation that was put into the program, that Jamie Zamian was one of very few people that was asked to present at a national conference and at this particular one. So Jamie, mucho kudos for putting our division and Sonoma State University in one of those categories where, when talking to our partners from EAB, they really believe that what we're doing at Sonoma State and the things that Jamie is doing and his team in particular are beyond the fringes. And so congratulations to you all and the outstanding work that you're doing. It really is remarkable, and you're putting us on the map. So kudos, excellent job. We also, this year, we're an alternate care site for public health. I'm not looking for kudos for us on that. I am just simply saying that we've been able to pivot, and Shelby and her team, as well as the housing team, and certainly under the leadership of Dr. Henney, we were able to pivot pretty quickly to be able to make sure that gym space as well as housing space was utilized for public health, as we had so many members of our community that were at risk. I do want you to know that we are one of 4 counties that have never moved out of the top tier or the purple tier. We're one of 4 counties in the state of California that have not moved out. So it just means that we have to continue to be ever vigilant in what we're doing and how we interact. And so mask up, keep your distance. We do know that things are going to be changing. We are hoping that by the time we move into the fall, that we are either in a red or an orange tier. Now remember, that's just wishful and aspirational thinking. But I know that we're moving towards that with our continuity plan and our repopulation plans. But what I'm reminded of is the things that we are doing that are truly different. Our orientation program moved completely to an online virtual program. But what makes it really exciting is that now we are in conversations with academic affairs and how we can now, when we go back to normality, that we will continue to have a very similar virtual format, but now we will move the in-person expression and have that space. We'll move a couple days before the beginning of school. And so we're going to move to a bifurcated model, which will really be exciting. And why is that good? Because we can save students and their families money. By bringing in students earlier, it is part of the contract Again, those are ideas that Dr. Henney and his folks have come up with. So and what it really amounts to, as well as working with Jamie and his team, that we now can, they don't have to pay that extra money to be here in the summer, and the families don't have to rent or get either an apartment or don't have to get a hotel room. They actually will be able to bring their kids up early, and that's covered by financial aid. We're also looking at ways to reduce the overall cost. Our goal this year, and what Jamie is really pushing on us to do, is to make sure, before we were one of the, I think, somewhere between 1 and 3 highest cost of an orientation, and Jamie's direction is for us number 2. And my direction from Jamie is, Doc, get us down to where we are the second lowest. So hopefully we will be in the bottom tier as we start looking at the cost. So congratulations to that good work. You may have heard that we are going to be getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $299 million out of the governor's budget. Please know that is not new money. That's restorative dollars. That's what was taken from us last year. So don't get happy yet. That's just money that's paying us back from what they took away from us. In the new budget, we're asking for an additional $144.5 million. So we know how things happen in California. We do know that sometimes we don't even see a budget until October. But what we are hoping for is that we do get the restorative money, and in doing so doesn't mean that that we are whole. We are not whole. And if you recall, from those who were around in 2008, 2009, we were never given back the other $175 million that was taken from us, because they took $350 million. So we're still trying to dig ourselves out of a hole, but it is better than the news that we had before, where we were $15 million going into the fall semester in terms of a deficit. So we still are looking at a deficit, but we're looking at how to resolve that. And we're still looking at right sizing of what is it we need to do in our Division of Student Affairs to make the programs that we have more effective and efficient for our students. The other thing too is that you all may have heard about the Zoom bomb that we had during one of our Black History events. It was an ugly event. The event itself was tremendously done. Props to Mendel and his team. They worked together to put together this incredible Black History Month program from the Black Faculty and Staff Association. During that day, we had some outside guests who were from New York and from at least the DC area also. It was a great program until someone popped in and did blackface. And then they must have still had a mold that was in there. And that mold then ended up putting the N-word all over the screen. So instead of me having Wakanda in my background, that would had the N-word scrolled all the way across, probably at least 100 entries on the screen. So immediately we were able to get them off, but certainly there was responses that needed to take place. And the good thing was that at the time, both Karen Moransky and I were on, so she and I are chatting, and I get off I stay on the screen, but I'm now calling the police department. She's now calling IT. IT's trying to get in because they want to see if there's any way that they could follow this person's IP address. At that point, then the chief already had people that were on the case. What we have done, just so you all know, I know that an email went out to the entire campus. I know that folks have thought, oh gosh, the university should have responded another way. Please know that Jerlene and I were all over those emails. I don't think there's anybody who's going to be more dedicated to making sure this thing gets taken care of than the two of us. I'm saying that everybody's on it, but you know that the two of us have a definite vested interest. And so we've been working on this pretty diligently. So please know that as students ask you, the question was, why would we not put more information in the campus-wide email? I think it would be more traumatic if I were to read that I saw the N-word all over a screen word and somebody came up in blackface, because we thought that could even be more triggering. But the question simply is, you could have done it one way or the other way. For some folks, we did it the wrong way. For those folks, we'll just simply say, we'll try to do it better the next time. But please know it's not because any of us are trying to hide. As you all know, President Kaki's cabinet there are 4 people of color. We have 1 Latinx male. We have me. We have Jolena. We have the president. And we only have 3 males, and there are 4 women. So President Takaki has a well-defined and well-oiled machine that certainly is looking out for the benefits of our staff and our students. But I did want to bring that up just so you all would know. And if anybody has any questions, they certainly can contact either myself or they can contact Jolena. Jolena and I are going to be putting together a task force. We are looking into what kind of things need to be done, and not kind of the things that we see in the past where student clubs and organizations have done demands. I think when you look at our team, you don't need to demand anything from us. When you have a school that already has a Black Faculty Staff Association, Alianza for Equity, which is our Latinx faculty staff organization, CUFASA, which is our Queer Faculty Staff Association, and then we have our APIA, our Asia Pacific Islander American Staff Faculty Staff Association. We're doing the work. And y'all know that. So we just need to make sure that the students know that we're out making sure that this work is getting done and that there's a voice on campus. And I don't think that there's any other place that I've been to in my career that has had so much entrenched within the leadership of faculty and staff. So I wanted to bring that up. I also want to let you all know that hiring slowdowns has been slow. That's why they call it hiring slowdowns, but they have been slow. But there's a lot out there. If you think we're one division and you think of how many other divisions that are out there doing this. And so we are trying to make sure that we're getting everyone what they need in a timely fashion. But it has been slower than any of us have anticipated. So we will continue to work on that. We're also looking at how can we make are coming back to campus more normal. Some of you have already had the opportunity to have a vaccine. We are now balancing that and working with Tracy Eaton and her team. We're really looking at trying to get ideas of testing versus a vaccination. And we're talking to other campuses to find out, okay, some campuses are saying, yes, we can't mandate a vaccine, but we can mandate a vaccine if you decide to move into housing. But we also need to make sure too, because that's certainly saying that we're hoping that by the time students would move in, that we have more students in housing that have gotten the vaccine. So we have created at least some kind of herd immunity. Those who have not, and we haven't done any of this yet, these are still in the process of the discussion, but we have to look then at testing for those individuals who have not. So we would say that individuals can also maybe move into housing, but if you move into housing and you have not been vaccinated, then we may have to look at testing. So those are all the things that we're going to have to look at as we move along. The other thing too is as you come back, how we need to continue to think about how we're safe, the things that we need to do in our areas, the plexiglass that will be up in areas, the seating will be different in terms of offices because we need to make sure that you'll be safe. We want to make sure that the students are safe. And so we're going to really have to think about what things need to be on campus, face-to-face, and what things would continue then in a virtual format. But foremost for us at the Division of Student Affairs is the safe presentation and delivery of our services to our students. That's what we're looking at. And so we're looking for your help in helping us to see what can we do to make sure that we bring our campus to normality. The chancellor has pointed out that he'd like to see campuses at around 50%. 50% is that 50% of the population, is that 50% of the classes. So we're all trying to determine what 50% means. In housing, we're looking at approximately 1,950 students. I know I would be extremely happy if we get to 2,000, but I do know too that as we're looking at this, we know that this is going to be a very steep mountain for us because we got to get people back into the institution. Students are excited about coming back, but not everybody is. So we have to start thinking to ourselves and with each other, how do we plan on doing this? And so these are going to be some major things that we need to talk about, particularly as Ryan and others on the screen have been working Liz and Stacy. I know Neil also has been part of this, Laura Mohnick Polson, and helping us to try to figure out what kind of incentives can we give to students to bring them back on campus, to bring them back into the housing fold. And those are things that we need to continue to think about. In doing so, then we look at the governor's budget because we need to look at mental health. The governor has also said too that we're going to put money into mental health. Well, we know that, and we know that that needs to be a major part of what we're doing. And so Laura Williams, Dr. Williams and I have met with the chief of police, and we are looking at something that has not been done at our institution, which is giving our team a couple of people within CAPS the ability to execute a 5150. That has not been done. And so Laura and I just met. So I want to thank Laura for her leadership and working with the chief of police. That's just amazing that we've been able to do that. And we've heard it's not been easy along the way. That's the reason why we haven't had it. So I do want to thank you for your leadership, because we've really kind of pushed that now into an area. And I know we have a meeting coming up soon with the folks on doing that. So excited about it. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that there's a lot going on out there, and I wanted to make sure I could provide you with a little bit of an update of all the things that we're looking at. But there are so many different committees that are going to be looking at construction, and not construction, but instruction, and that we're looking at approximately, we would like to have our first year students math and first year students English. We'd like to have them doing face-to-face. And in doing so, that means that we're going to have them on campus, which means that advising is going to be one of those areas that's going to have to be fast and at work and face-to-face. So we have to figure out how we do some of this, but some of it also can be at a distance, and we know that. But what the other thing too that we may be looking at is different hours. And how do we look at hours in terms of the work week? And how do we look at hours in terms of the work day? And I know some of those things will be worked through as we discuss things with unions and your supervisors. But we're going to try to get back to, as much as we know, the new normal, because I think you all pretty much will agree, we're not going to have the same normal as before. People have learned to learn differently. People have learned to exercise. People have learned activities differently. So we're going to have to figure out what we can do then as a division of student affairs, to be innovative, to be creative, to be spontaneous, but also we know that we have facilities that we're responsible for. How do we maintain those in a safe way? And also knowing too that we still are going to be at the beholding of public health. So I thank you all. I know this is probably one of my longest updates, but we've had so much that have been going on in this short period of time, and all the wonderful things that we're going to be doing in the future. One other thing I did want to mention, I've been working with Melissa Kadar, who is of course the president of Associated Students. Very excited to let you know that the students have now added one other commitment to the Seawolf commitment. It has just gotten passed. I know of all the hard work that Mo and Tremaine put in working with Associated Students in order to create the Seawolf commitment. So Mo, I'm really excited to let you know that now we have the fifth piece, which is our diversity, equity, and inclusion has been added to the Seawolf commitment. And so thank you, Mo, for all your hard work. I know we talked about this almost as soon as I got here. So thank you, Eric. Thank you. And of course, too, thank you to the leadership of our Associated Students. They are a very special group of individuals that are on our campus that really help us to continue to move and push things along. So I don't know if any of you all have questions, but maybe we can hold those till the end because I know we do have things we need to get through. So if you have questions, and I see there's 53 comments, so I'm not sure what those are. I'll look into those. But anyway, thank you. Dr. Polson.
Yeah. Audra has a question in the chat.
Okay.
The rest were messages of support and whatnot. And I don't know if you want to answer it or you want me to answer it.
Well, really the answer is the presidents are making the determination of whether or not we're going to require vaccination. You know, right now we require vaccines and we still have a hard time making sure that students, just for measles, right? And so we have to block folks. But I can tell you that the chancellors had this very conversation with presidents on whether or not we require people to be vaccinated. The hard part is we don't know when vaccines are going to be available. And so then
My
to be
question
able,
was kind of the opposite, not that we would require people, but if people already voluntarily got it, would those people then be required or encouraged to come back to campus earlier? Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. It does. So what I would say is that right now that has not been determined. I think it makes a lot of sense. If you've been vaccinated, come on back. But sometimes the things that make sense, there's probably something else that's attached to that. So before I go out and get in front of the entire university, you probably need to get more direction from our HR folks and public health. But I do think that makes a lot of sense. I think that we do need to make sure if you're vaccinated, why not come back? Right. And we still need to make sure that we do all the healthy pieces that are protocol that we have to do. But yes. So I'm sorry, I went off on my other tangent. There you go. That's your answer.
Yeah, I think it encouraged yes, required no. From what I was going to share, kind of just briefly, that there are a couple things coming up in the next couple weeks. HR and our coordination groups are working diligently to make sure that there is some equity in how we're asking folks to come back and how we're making plans, because I think right now it's an emergency vaccine. We can't require folks to get it. So down the line and in the future, we'll, like Doc said, we'll have to see what the guidance is. But as far as I've understood everything, we can't really consider whether or not folks have been vaccinated as a deciding factor as to whether or not folks can return. But you'll see in the next week or so, our COVID coordinating group is going to be sending out some needs assessments like they did last spring to our managers to identify what they would need physically on campus, and from a staffing perspective, who they would need and what kinds of support they would need to return to campus. And so you'll see more information collection efforts coming out in the next month or so that folks can kind of gather the information they need to make some good decisions. And, I'll share about our WASC visit, and that's kind of dominated a lot of our time in the last several weeks. But we also, as a division, want to have some good space to talk about what that means to come back. And so we'll share more about that plan, but know that those conversations are happening, that we're, people are very aware and equally concerned about what next year is going to look like. And we'll continue to provide space for those conversations and information.
There have been the Brave Spaces conversations that have been out of HR, academic affairs, and business services. We will be having a conversation with associated students. Mel Kadar and Noelia Brambilla and myself have been in conversation, and we'll be meeting with Eric and others on how to bring about a brave space conversation for our students, as well as our student affairs teams. Of course, you all were also invited to the other conversations, but it's exactly what Laura was suggesting. It's really about how do we return and what's going to be happening during that return. And simply, there are questions that we don't have the answers to right now. And you all been in this space for a year, and that right now things change so quickly. I'm always reminded of the one email that was sent out by Missy on a Friday evening, and then about 2 hours later, she had to reverse course because things had changed that quickly with public health. So we're trying to make sure we get you as accurate as information as possible. But sometimes when we get you the information, we hesitate because we just don't know if it's going to change in the next hour or so or the next day or so. Any other questions or thoughts?
Okay. I do have one.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of logistics, I know for me, my job requires, I'm vaccinated through Mendocino County because they're doing an incredible job. but my job would require me to travel. Has there been talk about logistics of mileage reimbursement, and right now with the travel ban? I'm just wondering if that's being considered, and also just, I know there's other factors where my sites, I would have to get that approved, and if they'd be willing to have me to return in their plan. And also the safety.
Absolutely. So, and Audra also has kind of snapped her fingers on that one and said, yes, good question. Yes. So the travel ban is still on. So we're still looking at, and the questions that I have asked when folks are trying to do blankets, I'm saying, but let's not do necessarily a blanket, but we are, Audra and I have actually just finished doing one. The president is going to be looking at, and the questions I've been asking is where you're going, what tier are they in, and what are the restrictions and or requirements that they are asking for when people enter in that county. So I know that we can travel within 120 miles, but you still may be going in. Some of our jobs require us to go to 5 and 6 different counties. If that's the case, then we need to make sure what that is, so that we're looking at risk and we're trying to make sure that you are safe. And then also too, what are they requiring you do when you get to that county? And so those are the things that we have to look at, because we are one of 4 that has constantly been in that purple tier. We don't necessarily know how every county treats us. If one is vaccinated, it sure does make your job a lot easier, and it makes it easier for us then to be able to say this person is vaccinated. They will be careful. They still will mask up, but it's easier for us to be able to say that as you're traveling in a vehicle. We have not, at this point, I don't know that the president has approved, and it's only because I don't know this one, whether or not the president has approved any airplane travel at all. I doubt that, but I think that one of the things we're also looking at too, Moises, is we're checking out whether or not, which is important for us, we're getting ready to resume golf. We're looking at resuming golf because, you know, you're outside, you don't need to be in contact. And so travel is obviously associated with that. And they can get into a bus and or a car because our team is being tested. So as long as they're in a bus together, they're fine. When they go out and eat, they'll probably have to keep box lunches with them so that they are not necessarily then in an area. But it's the same thing that all of you, and of course, Audra and any of our folks that are in our PCP programs, I know must do some form of travel. So as we do so, that's what I'm reminding folks of, that our jobs are a little bit different in student affairs. With pre-collegiate programs, our Upward Bound, our ATF, I mean, all of our programs really, we are out in the community. And so we have a responsibility. So please let us know. I think Audra was a real good icebreaker for us because she helped us work through some of this with the president's office. So please continue and, you know, working with Susan and your program heads, because that's the only way we're going to get through this one. So it's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Audra, does that answer you too? Okay. Thanks, Susan.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think we are ready to move into some additional announcements. I don't know, Sue, if you want to pull up our slides so that folks can see the visual. Our first announcement is a follow-up from our last meeting. We talked about the celebration of excellence, the plan for the awards ceremony, and the plan for the awards. I believe at the latest by the end of this week, we're hoping to have the application live. The applications are set and ready to go. We just want to make sure they're easily accessible to all of you. And so I wanted to walk through kind of some of the events. Sorry, I need to exit this full screen here so I can see my notes. The Celebration of Excellence is something that the Division of Student Affairs has created as an opportunity for colleagues in the division to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments and good work of their fellow DSA colleagues. This year's celebration will be held virtually, but in the future, typically we would hope to come together in a more formal event, physically together to recognize and celebrate each other. The Planning and Nomination Committee invites you all to submit nominations for the Seawolf Inspired Commitment Awards and the Spirit of Excellence Award. The Spirit of Excellence Award recognizes a campus community member, and then the Pillar of Excellence Award is the essentially our Division of Student Affairs Staff or Employee of the Year award. We will be sending out the invitation, inviting folks to submit nominations. Within that document, you'll see all of the kind of descriptions of the recognition categories. So you can review the requirements, the eligibility requirements, and the parameters for nominating. Please review, let us know if you have questions. And we're really looking forward to recognizing each other this year. One of the other things that we will be asking for, and Dr. Sawyer had mentioned this a little bit earlier as well, please feel free to submit any conference proposals, presentations, publications, and award achievements via email to us at affairs@sonoma.edu. Again, all of these invitations are going to be included in the manual that you'll see. We want to make sure that we're recognizing all of the good work that we are contributing to the scholarly field of higher education and the field of student affairs, and want to recognize that community of scholars as well. Nominations will be due by April 2nd, 2021. More information can be found on our DSA Engage page, and we will also be sending all this information out as a follow-up email to all of you. And our virtual awards ceremony is scheduled for May 28th at 3 p.m. So please hold the date, and we look forward to seeing all of the nominations. Dr. Sawyer is particularly passionate about this project, and I think that we are all very excited to recognize you, but I want to make sure that if you have anything else you want to add around this, that I give you a moment to do so.
Thank you, Laura. I am really excited about this. I think that being able to recognize our staff and the wonderful accomplishments says a lot. We're not putting up a parking space, that says, hey, that this is the employee of the year. Unfortunately, we can't do those things. But what I will say is that we are looking at how we can honor you and all the work that you have done. We also want to make sure, too, that you have an opportunity and to know that there are different evaluation and groups that will be looking at hopefully making sure that, and I'll give you an example on the Spirit of Excellence is, of course, the one that last year we honored Mark Stapp from Advancement. Mark actually will now sit on that committee to look at our Spirit of Excellence winners or nominees and help us to determine who this year's winner will be, because they will actually be joining him. We also have a group that, which is an award that it's not yet on the list, but it's a student award of a staff person. I'm calling it affectionately the Fessor Graham Award. When I was at the University of North Texas, we had, which is known for its music. Well, the awards were always given out. Sometimes how that is, it just seems like within the faculty ranks, these individuals kept kind of giving each other the outstanding professor of the year. And the students somewhat rebelled and said, we're going to give our own award. And it was called the Fessor Graham Award. And to this day, the Fessor Graham Award is possibly the most coveted award on the campus, which simply means that the students went out and they campaigned, and the students went out and selected who they wanted as being the outstanding professor of the year. In stealing that idea, I thought in working with AS that associated students would work with other student leaders on campus to help us to identify the outstanding staff person in the Division of Student Affairs as selected by students. When I spoke with Eric, we don't have a name yet, but we felt that that was something that's organic and it could simply come out from those meetings. So I wanted to let you know too that I think is also a very special award, and wanted you all to be sure that you knew about that. But we're looking at different committees to be able to help us to determine who the outstanding people are in the categories. For the Pillar Award, we simply are going to have a university-wide committee. And so we're looking at people from HR, we're looking people from academic affairs, we're looking for people from admin and finance, as well as our own division. We're looking at the GMC. We're trying to make sure that we have enough people that when we say that this person is indeed the employee of the year, that that all of our constituencies and all the people throughout campus will know that this person is a person that has been selected by their colleagues and fellow campus members as the Pillar winner or Pillar Award winner. So thanks, Laura. That's all I have, unless you all have some other questions. And it does not take, and it does not take away from what other areas within the division that have already had their own recognition ceremonies. And so I do know that Jamie has had in his area, since I've been here, I think you're coming up on your third or your fourth since I've been here. Third. This is the third. Okay, third. Okay. That makes sense since in April 2nd, I'll be here 3 years. So, all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And any questions you have, you can direct to our office. And like I said, look out for that email, and we'll also be posting it in Engage so that the information will live somewhere you can go to when you're ready to submit. You'll be able to find it. So we're really excited to have this rolling out, and it's a great beginning to a tradition that we can have for years to come. So excited to recognize folks in the good work more. In the name of recognition, let's move to our next slide. We have a new doctor in the house. Want to just echo that again. Dr. Verrier successfully defended her dissertation on the journey of women leaders in higher education, an analysis of women overcoming adversity and bias. Really excited for you, Audra, really excited about the dissertation topic. We hope to learn more about, what you learned in your dissertation studies, and welcome to the Circle of Scholars. I think part of what is exciting about having a Circle of Scholars, or just scholars in our division, is that you all are a wealth of knowledge in your particular area, and it informs the work we do. It informs our approach to the work, and thinking about women leaders in higher education is absolutely something that we all benefit from having been here in our division. So congratulations again on that accomplishment. And for all of you who are starting doc programs, make sure you pay attention to those folks in that Circle of Scholars, because they can be an incredible resource and source of support for you as well. All right, we can move on to our next slide. I mentioned this last time, but wanted to mention it again because we did launch our NCHA survey yesterday. It went out to about 7,000 students, so nearly all of our students on campus were invited to participate. The data collected will help inform the design of our programs, and especially in areas around mental health, physical health, sexual health, substance abuse, and personal safety. Dr. Sawyer shared or posted on his Instagram yesterday encouragement for students to participate. So I am asking all of you, if you have student affairs or department related Instagram accounts, please go and share that post to your account. One of the biggest barriers I think that we find for students participating is that they're not always sure when they get emails from companies if these are actually Sonoma State supported surveys. We have certain limitations sometimes when we work with different companies and how we can do that. This one did go out from the the American College Health Association. So it came from a third party, although it does look like it came from me and Catherine Ahart as the principal investigator. So it would be a big help for us if you could help students make that connection by posting on your department Instagrams and encouraging folks to participate. That helps them know that it's legit and that there are human beings at Sonoma State behind it. So thanks for that. And any questions you have, of course, you can ask myself or Catherine Ahart in the Student Health Center. All right, next slide, please. Dr. Sawyer mentioned this. We have a special visit coming up Thursday and Friday of this week with WASC. WASC stands for the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. This is a special visit for us about halfway through. Our last 8-year accreditation visit was in 2017. For those of you who are at Sonoma State at the time, you know that we had a terrible wildfire that really rocked the campus, and the WASC folks could see that, and they could also see we're on the cusp of quite a bit of change. So this special visit is really for them to hear an update on all of the good things that we're doing. And they had provided us with 7 set recommendations, that they wanted to see us actively working toward. And so this visit typically would be a physical visit to our campus. We'd have special sessions that folks could physically show up to. Of course, right now, because of COVID, this is a virtual visit, so everything will be on Zoom, which has created some interesting logistical details for us as we prepare for this visit. I want to personally thank all of you who contributed to the requests that the special visit team made for certain documentations and helping us make sure that they were ready to go. I cannot believe all of the things that we have done since 2017. I mean, I can believe it, but when you see it in writing, it's incredible. The story that we have to tell about the work that this division has done is really something that we should all be very proud of. So, on behalf of Dr. Sawyer and on behalf of everyone who is participating in the visit team, thank you so much for all that you have done to get us ready to go. And if we are a little slow in responding to emails on Thursday and Friday, that's why. So looking forward to hearing, what the special visit team has to say about the progress we've made, and we will hopefully be able to circle back with you on an update in a future division meeting. We can go ahead and move to our next slide. We've got some new roles and new employees. Oh,
Dr. Polson, before we go on.
Sure.
One of the things I did want to add, I know that some of you were not with us back in 2018, but Sue, Rachel, and Dr. Monhe Polson have put together a timeline, and it's a work in progress. Each one of the area heads has access to it in our Google Docs. And what it does is it goes literally from the very first day, in April the 2nd, when we had an all-staff meeting and talked about the direction. Actually, it was my first day. And we talked about the direction of where we would go in student affairs. And I remember saying to the group, Mo was sitting right there in the front row. I think I'm not sure she was in shock, but I know that she said, "What?" when I said that in 2 years that we would be considered as one of the most promising places to work in student affairs. And Mo, I can't see your face, but I know you remember that one. And we kind of did some back and forth banter. I was really shocked that within 11 months, we did receive not 24, but within 11 months, we received most promising places to work in student affairs in the nation. But what is key is the process that we went through. And I think what we're looking at, and if any of you get called in and they want to know, well, talk about the process. You only tell them what you know. But on the other hand, we wanted to make sure that you all knew that there really was a quite in-depth process that we went through. And the first thing that we did within a couple of weeks of me being here, I pulled together some of the folks that were here at the time, the two assistant vice presidents that were here, myself, Sue, Rachel was not yet on board, Anna, and am I forgetting anyone else on that? I think that may have been it. And we met for 2 days at a hotel in Rohnert Park. We then came back and we had a new model. After we had this new model, I call it peeling back the onion of student affairs. For folks who have been here for a while, they knew that student affairs didn't really exist. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a model that made sense, particularly with our scholars in student affairs and the models that had been designed. As many of you that are in those programs or have gone through those programs, you know, we were really trying to make sense of what we had on this campus, not trying to duplicate from other campuses, but seeing what we had on our campus and the people that we had in terms of overall capacity. The next level then was just to bring in new people and to invite individuals to join the team. So I invited then several new people to join who are already here on campus, but to join the leadership team. And those individuals who are currently sitting in those spots as senior leaders, senior directors are individuals that I asked to join me. At that point, we met for another 2 days. That was probably a month later. We went through and we covered all the information, asked everyone, does this make sense? Should these things be moved around? And we took a lot of time trying to figure out what made sense. Again, going back to student development theory, how did this work and how did it make sense? After we walked out of that meeting, we felt that we had put the onion pretty much back together, but the things that did not make sense to us at the time, we either put in what we call the parking lot, or if it has some roots, we put it in what we call the incubator. And we tried to determine then the incubator was just something that we wanted to make sure that was close enough, that we put money behind it, and that we were making sure that that program could thrive until we decided where it needed to go. But right after that particular group, then I knew it was important for us to check with associated students. So Eric had set up with associated students so I could meet with the leadership and explain to them what we were doing, if they had any questions and if they saw any problems with this, and how will this impact our students. At that time, our president was Carly Chatterley, and of course, our wonderful Christina Gambo at Gladiator was also part of that group that helped us really to work through issues that maybe students would have had, or if they saw something that didn't make sense. So that was very, very, very helpful to us. After that, or actually technically, I missed a step. Right before them, I brought in the former interim vice presidents. I brought back Dr. Michael Young and I brought back Harry LeGrand. For those who don't know, Michael was at UCSB for, I think, 27 years. And I think Harry was at Berkeley for around 37 years. But I think not only, but about 8 years as the vice chancellor. So I brought them in actually so they could look at the model since they had already been here. And both of them, well, Harry wasn't, but allegedly retired. And they looked over the model to make sure that it met all the nuances of our profession and the work that we all three have done in that work. We decided that among all of us, that the three of us, that we had over 100 years of experience, which is quite a bit. We started thinking about all the work that we have done. And then, of course, then we brought the students and asked the students. After that, I asked all the area heads to go back to speak to each one of their individual areas, talk to them in terms of the model. Did it make sense? And what things would they add? In the process, I had everyone get rid of what was called a mission statement, because there's only one mission. It's the mission of the university. We all have a different purpose in making sure that we achieve the mission. But then I asked for each one of the area heads to go back and look at the purpose statement that we had written for the division, and then ask everyone to do the purpose statement then for their individual areas. And so what you have now is the most current version in your areas of your purpose statement. After we did that, the final piece was that we took it to the entire campus. We had each one of the area heads. Those of you who were around, you got to see that it was really fun to be able to watch everyone present and talk about what they had created in their areas by repurposing and reimagining what the Division of Student Affairs would look like from the area and from the individual programs that you all present. That is actually in a document that Sue and Rachel and Laura put together. And certainly if there's something in there, those of you who were also there at the time, if there's something that I possibly have forgotten or we just didn't think about, please feel free to make sure that we put that in there, because it is part of our history. And eventually we'll probably end up publishing this and this is student affairs. This is what we've been able to accomplish in terms of the process of bringing about the new student affairs. So Laura, I know I took a long time, but I wanted to make sure that folks knew this information, because you all may be called into, and if you're called into a meeting, at least you'll have the knowledge already. And if you weren't here, you could just say, hey, I've heard about it, but I wasn't there. But for those who are there, this is basically kind of a rehash of what took place while you were in the division.
Now you know.
And now you know.
And now you know.
And hopefully we'll know soon whether or not we got most promising again.
Yep. Yeah. Exciting stuff happening in the division for sure. And, you know, I have to say, having sludged through this year with all of you, it is very gratifying to look back on all the things that we've been able to accomplish despite or while managing adversity. So, you know, one of the things that I always say for new professionals as they, you know, kind of process capacity is that as you progress in the field, your capacity, your workload capacity expands, and the things that you will be able to accomplish in one day will surprise you a couple years, you know, when you look back on it years from now. And so that's not to diminish some of the stress and exhaustion that we have all been also simultaneously trying to figure out. But you know, one of the best ways to persist is to recognize all you've accomplished. So it really is very incredible when we see what we've done. And publishing it and getting it out there is part of the way that we tell our story. I want to get through a couple other very important announcements and share with you our plans for our next meeting. Vicky Garcia's beautiful face was up here for quite some time. So if you didn't get a chance to read the slide, Vicky has a new role in the division. Vicky joined TRIO Student Support Services a year and a half ago as our reading and writing tutor, supporting students in the United for Success program. Vicky brings a wealth of knowledge and experience working with multilingual college students and students with disabilities in reading, writing, and academic skills development. She'll bring all of that knowledge and experience to this new position. Vicky's background also includes experience with the development, implementation, and coordination of academic support and success resources for these student populations. So congratulations, Vicky, on your new role in the division. We're happy to be able to keep you with us. We also have a new position to announce. Griselda Madrigal Lara is our new Puerta and Case Advisor. Congratulations, Gris. Gris identifies as a 1.5 generation immigrant. She graduated from Santa Rosa Junior College, Sonoma State University, and the University of Texas at Austin. So SRJC with an AA in Social and Behavioral Sciences, Sonoma State University with a BA in Chicano and Latino Studies, the University of Texas at Austin with an MA in Mexican American and Latino Studies. And most recently received a yoga teaching certificate from SRJC. That's awesome. She's a writer, yoga instructor, and now a Case and Puerta advisor. So congratulations, Gris, for joining the team. We are happy and lucky to have you. And then we have two folks who achieved permanent status in March, Mike Dominguez and Janie Ware-Martin in the Student Health Center. Congratulations to both of you. What a year it has been. Mike joined us right before we moved into shelter in place last year. So most of his work life recently has been with us on screens like this. And then we have a new Seawolf to welcome to the family. Congratulations to Dr. Ryan Jason Honey, Dean of Students, and his family of now 6, with the addition of little Tatum to the family. So welcome Tatum to the Seawolf family. Okay, that's it for me as far as our important updates from the division. And I'm glad we've been able to have some extra time with you all to talk more about where we are as a division in all of our projects. We did table our panel discussion that we were going to have for today. I think I mentioned this last time. We were going to do a kind of a panel discussion series on our strategic priorities. And with all that everyone's juggling, we decided it would be better to have some more extra time for updates. And we will continue with our panel discussion series next meeting. Hopefully, things will continue to be a little stable and steady. I shouldn't have even said that out loud. And so I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Sawyer for some closing remarks. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Mohey Polson. I know that I put this already in the chat, but happy Her Story Month. We're going to be celebrating then this entire month on all the accomplishments. And certainly we want to make sure too, achievements of individuals who have been major influences in the life and the history of us individually, our country, as well as the world. So exciting to be able to be, it's exciting that we're being able to pull something together. Our next fireside chat will be very exciting. We have an individual who's a friend of mine. We served together on CSAC, which is the California Student Aid Commission. Her name is Dr. Landia Jose. Dr. Jose, as you can also tell, happens to be from another country. She is from a country in Africa. I'll let her tell that story. It's quite a compelling introduction in terms of her life. She and her husband are both graduates from MIT, and so she has a PhD from MIT. So that's exciting. We've also asked Dr. Verrier to also join us in that discussion in a fireside chat. You may have, those of us who have seen Dr. Verrier's at least a rendition of her presentation. Her dissertation is really incredible. I had that good fortune to see it at NASPA, as well as a presentation that we did here on campus. But to have the two of them on the same program is exciting. You have a more seasoned individual, and then of course you have our new doc. So excited to have both of them to present. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Landia Jose also actually was plucked out of her job and asked to join Gavin Newsom and his education area. So she really sits at the right hand of the governor when talking about government and educational issues. So it'll be fun to be able to talk to Dr. Ajose and Dr. Verrier on our next fireside chat. And with that in mind, I'm so excited about the planning that we're doing. I'm so excited to see some of the things that you all have already presented, the documents that Dr. Mohey Polson talked about that we were able to get into the WASC team's hands. I was so excited because when I talked to Karen Moransky yesterday, and she was like over the moon, excited about all the work that we've been able to do and had no idea of what's been going on in the Division of Student Affairs. So thank you for the good work. We're getting it out there, people getting a chance to see that. And I don't want anyone to make the mistake of saying that we didn't have this. We've always been good. This division was always good, and the people were always good prior to anybody else coming here, whatever the case may be. I think what we've been able to do in the time that we've worked together is simply to identify it, call it what it is. We've been able to name the work that we've done, and that's exciting. And we've been able to put it in a place where people understand it and recognize it. So some of you are going, well, this isn't new. It isn't. It really is. And some of the things you've been doing forever. I just thank you for doing it so well and making sure that some of the ideas and programs will continue to be contagious, not like a pandemic, but the ideas continue to flow, and you all continue to help us to make and grow a student body that can matriculate and graduate from our university. So I am so excited. I suppose as a final statement, I had an opportunity on Friday to meet with a group of young men that are in a program which Andre Bailey is the coordinator of, and that program has been, the MSI program has been working every Friday evening they meet. What is so exciting, and there's so many of these young men, and they're young men of color. But as you all know, in GI 2025, we have a gap, and we as in the CSU. But in working with Jamie and his team and in GIG, we're going to close those numbers, or at least close the gap. But that Friday night program was so inspirational. I listened to poems that young men have written, and basically are giving them to other young men that were on the Zoom call. And that is so unusual. You just need to know that. That is very unusual. But to watch them and to freely do so, that they oftentimes will have tears because they haven't had a platform, or at least a space where they could open up and talk about what it's like. Lots of F-bombs were dropped because it was a form of expression and the pain. And it was absolutely amazing to listen to that. And you all may have heard me say this before, but there's one person in particular that was really headed in the wrong direction. But I give all the power and all the strength, and certainly the kudos, to the mentors in this group that were there to help to literally rescue this young man from going to jail. And with him having less than a 1-point GPA, and this last semester he made a 4-point GPA, simply shows that this program is working. And it is about mentoring, it is about care. And so when we were in a program yesterday with the provost, and it was GIG, and GIG is doing a phenomenal job, but one of the things that we talked about is looking at the work that was put into the MSI and see if we can duplicate some of that for the 8 students that we need to make sure that we graduate, to get us, basically, this will get us to the closing of the achievement gap on our campus. And I'm looking to Jamie, because I don't know if that is the exact number now. Is it 8 students, Jamie, if you're still here? You may have stepped off. It's 12, okay. So just imagine if we make sure that each one of those 12 students, we're saying we're taking 200. We're taking 200 through it. But understand that those students, we saw the difference in what Andre and his team, Derek and Tremaine and Mendel, Alvin, and these folks are committed, and they're there all the time at these meetings. And so I know that if we all can hold their hands and get them through, that will be a model for the CSU. There's only 12 of folks that we need to close that achievement gap. But imagine if we take 200 students and we're all committed to one student for the next 4 years, what that will mean. So thank you all so very much. I really appreciate it. We are living truly the culture of care. And I think the work that we're doing in student affairs simply is setting the tone now for not just the CSU, but I think around the nation. So thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I appreciate it. Dr. Monhe Paulson, Sue, Rachel, thank you all for all the work that you put into making sure that this all took place. You all have a great day.
Hi, everyone.